Hello everyone, welcome to Vegged Out Gardening with Kate. It is May 28th and we're getting the gardening weekend started with preparing for frost. So, super fun. Always look at the weather with your garden, especially in the spring, just to make sure you catch these frost dates. So, I'm going to cover everything real quick. Woohoo! First strawberries from the garden. These came from the covered bed, so they've been prepping for quite a while. Really enjoyed that early heat of being covered and then the cool spring. Love it! Alright, wah-wah. Garden is covered up. I've got some kind of fancy garden frost fabric here, but you can just use plastic. That's what I've got over there. Bought that at a hardware store. And you can use tarps. I'm actually gonna go grab a sheet. You can actually use just a normal bed sheet. I'm gonna go grab one and wrap it around this tomato. It's just too big to bring in. But I did happen to harvest a few more kohlrabi. You can see this is what the snail damage looks on them, but they're good size and they'll taste good. I'm gonna bring in rosemary, and then I've got one pepper as well that I'm gonna bring in tonight. Here's what that sheet looks like covering up that tomato. Not pretty, but I've already been growing that tomato since January, so I don't care that it looks weird. Alrighty, it is the second day of the Memorial Day weekend gardening. And what I've done here now that the frost is gone is plant the rest of my plants, which is mostly the hot plants like peppers and ground cherries, cucamelons or cucumbers. Basically anything that comes from more southern locations can go out now. I'll show you what else I got. So again, I'm trying to interplant as much as possible. Got peppers, multiple types of peppers here, Brussels sprouts, some leftover greens, and then putting in a few flowers as well. This is cosmos, alyssum. Got a few. Some have some sunflowers in them. Here I've got squash. I believe this one's butternut squash. I've also got pumpkin and summer squash, patty pan squash. And then in each one of the squash pots, I've got nasturtium. They're supposed to help against the squash pests. And then I've also got marigold, hopefully help against squash pests as well. And then over here, I've got cucamelons. It's like a very small cucumber, smaller, about the size of a cherry tomato. They're great for snacking and pickling. Highly recommend it. But these will get pretty big and they'll need some trellising. Here's another pairing I'm trying. This is kale with cosmos. So we'll see how that goes. This one will use flowering nutrients, and this one will use greens. Nutrients, and so they should work out. As far as the next week goes, the weather actually looks pretty mild, cloudy, and then into the 50s and probably up to the 70s. So if you have anything left to plant, you could easily plant it this week. The seeding operation will start to slow down, but I'm still going to be planting bush beans, pole beans. I know some of my pole beans got damaged by the frost, so I'll probably have to replant a few things. But if you know of anything else that you usually plant this late in the spring, let me know. But that's all that I'm doing this week, and probably for a few weeks, is just planting beans, because you can plant beans every week or every other week for most of the summer. Other than that, I would just keep an eye on whatever you planted. Make sure it stays nice and watered throughout the week. It doesn't look like it's going to rain too much, so you might still have to water a few times this week. But your spring planting should start to slow down, so enjoy starting to watch your garden grow. and let me know how it goes. Thanks for hanging out and watching Vegging Out with Kate. Have a good week.